What is up, everybody? Welcome back to DVDs, Nuts, and Popcorn. I am your host, the PMM, the Physical Media Mac. And I'm back with not a whole bunch of stuff. You know, I've been on vacation, haven't had really the time to go out and do too much hunting and stuff. So I only have one Dollar Tree pickup, $1.25 bush pickup. And we're going to talk about that. I've already watched that movie. And then I got some Goodwill pickups, and I think that's it. No, I got some pawn shop pickups as well. And then on most likely the next video, because I think I'm going to get these movies on Monday. Today's Sunday, so I should get the movies tomorrow. If not, no later than Tuesday. I got a text from my buddy Ty Lord. He sent me a listing of this website. I think it's called, let me see, is it MWF or MFW or some of that nature? It's those ones that have those Vestron releases, generally. They have Vestron releases. You'll see like one at Walmart, you know, random ones at Walmart. I'm trying to remember the last one I picked up. Vestron release. The one with Patrick Swayze, I picked up the, where he kind of plays like a Mel Gibson, post-apocalyptic road warrior type of role. I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head. I think that's the last Vestron pickup. But I picked up a ton of cool stuff. Like, he showed me, and I was like, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole. And there were Black Friday sales, so we will have some Black Friday pickups coming up next weekend. And I think I picked up like 8, maybe even 9 movies. But most of them were like $6.99, $7.99 range. They're like 75% off or something ridiculous. Some really cool pickups. So I'm excited about showing you that on the next video. I guess let's get started. This should be a short video, unlike my normal hour videos. I think my last video was an hour 45. Which is pretty abnormal. I usually don't make videos that damn long. Alright, well, shout out to my Dollar Tree dorks. Let me show you what I picked up from there. Now, this is a movie that I saw many years ago when it came out. Back in... Excuse me. Back in 2013, and by the way, the shade is really sparse. I couldn't find really a good shaded area, and so we'll have to see how this goes. It looks decent now, but I can see the sun rolling in on us very soon here. But this is a movie called Out of the Furnace. Like I said, I watched it back in somewhere around 2013. And it's got a plethora of ridiculously great actors in it. And a who's who of some of the best actors in Hollywood. Now, this stars Christian Bale. And, you know, in a nutshell, it's basically a story about Christian Bale and Cassie Affleck. But I feel like I'm fucking his name up. Yeah, Cassie Affleck. Those two guys are brothers. Affleck is, he went away to war in Iraq and came back with a lot of effing demons and stuff. Christian Bale is a steel worker in a small town where his dad was a steel worker, his uncle's a steel worker, the whole family, and they're just hardworking guys trying to keep their noses clean. And Cassie Affleck does not want to work in the mill. He comes back, like I said, from the war with lots of demons and stuff. And, you know, he's hanging around. He's getting involved with the wrong crowds. Now, Woody Harrelson plays a redneck gangster character. And also one of my favorite actors of all time, William Dafoe, is in this. William Dafoe is like the... he's like the bookie in town, like, you know, like a small time bookie, but he's like a hustler. and like kind of like a cool character. And he's like Cassie Affleck's always trying to borrow money from him and stuff. And he kind of, even though he's a hustler, he kind of looks after Cassie Affleck and has respect for their family and stuff. And so he kind of tries to take care of them a little bit, but he ends up, if you watch the movie, they end up getting in a lot of trouble. So Woody Harrelson, I think William Dafoe's character ends up owing Woody Harrelson a lot of money, and he's trying to pay him back and stuff. So, but he doesn't live in the town that everybody lives in. Woody Harrelson lives like in the woods, up in the mountains or in the woods and stuff, with all the other rednecks and meth heads and meth dealers and stuff. And so Cassie Affleck starts boxing under the umbrella of William Dafoe's character, and but he's supposed to throw fights and stuff, but William Dafoe's getting pissed off at him because he can't, he starts getting beat up and he gets pissed off, and his emotions get to him, and he ends up winning the fight. So William Dafoe loses money, so it's like a terrible partner to go into this boxing scheme with him. And he ends up talking, which he should have known better, he ends up talking William Dafoe's character into contacting Woody Harrelson's character and going down there into the woods and actually boxing. But that's also like a corrupt boxing scheme operation that Woody Harrelson has going on. So he's got to do the same thing over there, is take a fall in fights. So now Christian Bale's character ends up, I don't even know if he was drunk. He did have a few drinks, got in his vehicle, and I think it wasn't that he was drunk. Someone pulled out in front of him on his way home out of a driveway or a little side road, I guess, and he smashed right into them. There was a kid in the car. It wasn't too detailed how many people he killed, but it was definitely manslaughter. So he ends up going away to the Department of Corrections, right, to the penitentiary. And, his brother's out there still in the war, but he comes back all the time on leave and stuff, and still getting in trouble with these sordid characters or whatever. And his girlfriend, which is played by Zoe Saldana, and they're going to get married. Like, they're talking about marriage. They're talking about having babies. They're madly in love. But when he goes away to prison, she leaves him. She never visits him in prison. And she ends up getting with another great actor, Forrest Whitaker. And Forrest Whitaker is the sheriff of the town, and this small town. So he gets out of the penitentiary, Christian Bale's character, and realizes that his wife, or his soon-to-be wife, or his ex-girlfriend, is now with Whitaker's character. So there's that conflict right there. And sure enough, William Dafoe and Cassie Affleck go down there to visit Woody Harrelson, and they get into a lot of effing trouble. I'll just put it that way. I don't want to give too much away. And then Christian Bale basically has to come to the rescue. I'll just put it that way without giving up too much about the movie. And I really think that I've said this on the channel before, William Dafoe, if not my favorite actor, he's one of my favorite actors of all time. And don't get me wrong, he's great in this, but man, Christian Bale and Woody Harrelson just steal the show in this, man. They're so effing good. I mean, every time you see Woody Harrelson, you get uncomfortable. I mean, he just is such a dirty, rotten piece of shit character that's unbelievable. Really good. Sam Shepard's in this also as Christian Bale's uncle. I always love him in movies. I think he's fantastic. And but Christian Bale, man, this is probably the best acting I've ever seen him do before. By the way, it's kind of funny. Christian Bale was Batman, and William Dafoe was the Green Goblin, right, in Batman. So they're reunited in this. I don't know if they were in that. Yeah, I think that was prior to this. But Yeah, man, this is a real, like, hard look at, you know, blue-collar America and how depressing it is to be, you know, that blue-collar steel worker and just everything just go wrong for you. And you got to feel for Christian Bale's character in this movie. And, but, man, his acting is so good. Casey Affleck is he's a really good actor as well in this. I think this is one of his best roles as well. And, you know, some of their back and forths are just amazing. When he's in prison, Casey Affleck visits him and tells him that their father died. And, you know, he's in prison. His father just died. He knows his brother's getting in trouble. And he tries to put on this smile through this intense, sad moment. And it's just like, it's so well done. His body English and his whole demeanor and his emotional state is done so well by Christian Bale, just trying to shine through with some happiness through all the darkness. It's incredible what he does in this film. And yeah, I'll go ahead and read the synopsis on this from Scott Cooper. By the way, Scott Cooper directed Crazy Heart. It's a movie that I enjoyed with Jeff Bridges, a washed-up country singer, alcoholic movie. He also did Black Mass with Johnny Depp, and which, if I remember correctly, that was pretty good as well. It was about Whitey Bulger, the gangster. And then he made a movie called Antlers, which I can't remember if I've seen that. It's a 2021 movie. I think that's a horror flick, Antlers. So he's got some decent movies behind him. This movie's weird also. It's listed at, I think it's just Leonardo DiCaprio's production company did this, or was a part of this, because I don't see him producing it hands-on. But then it also says Ridley Scott was one of the producers. So that's very interesting. And what else was I going to say? Oh, the synopsis. So, let me see. Comes a gripping and powerful drama about family, fate, circumstance, and justice. Russell Bayes, Oscar-winning Christian Bale, leads a dead-end life. He works a meaningless steel mill job all day and cares for his terminally ill father at night. When Russell's brother, Rodney, Casey Affleck, returns from Iraq, he is lured into one of the Northeast's most ruthless crime rings and mysteriously disappears. When the police fail to solve the case, Russell puts his life at risk in order to seek justice for his brother. This absorbing film features a knockout cast that includes Woody Harrelson, Forrest Whitaker, William Dafoe, Zoe Saldana, and Sam Shepard. Yeah, see, that's the other thing about this film. So Forrest Whitaker ends up being with the lady that he loves and stuff. So that's, you know, that, like I said, that's a major conflict right there. And when Casey Affleck disappears, he has to deal with Forrest Whitaker. And there's some really intense moments because Forrest Whitaker's basically saying his hands are tied. They have no evidence that, you know, Woody Harrelson's character had anything to do with it. And, man, I'm telling you, man, some of the moments between them two, the back and forth, the intensity of just one part where Christian Bale's just giving this glare at Forrest Whitaker, the sheriff. Man, it is intense. So more of the same, just a bunch of great acting in this. You know, critics were all over the place with this movie. I think most of them respected it, but they had, you know, they definitely had their bad points with it. But I really enjoyed this film. For the second watch, if I remember correctly, I liked it when I first watched it back in 2013 or 14, whenever I saw it. But now I'm a bigger fan of it. I actually enjoyed it more. I'm for sure about that now. And, yeah, man, really cool flick. All right, so that's my only $1.25 Bush pickup. Now, this is a movie that I heard about a long time ago, but just, you know, and by the way, we always talk about the 2000 curse and how 2000 movies suck, 2000 plus or 2000 and moving forward, a lot of them suck. We're going to talk about a lot of 2000 plus movies in this video, which is pretty crazy. It just so happened I'm watching a lot of 2000 and later films. And speak of the devil, here we have a 2013 film called Snowpiercer. And I've heard good people talk good things about this. One YouTuber that I watch every once in a while, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he always bragged about this film. Now, this is directed by Bong Joon-ho, and I looked him up and was very happy to see the other movies that he directed. So he directed a movie called The Host back in 2006, not to be confused with another Host movie that sucked. The Host movie back in 2006, I remember renting that from Hollywood Video when Hollywood Video was still alive, just because of the critics' write-ups on it. I didn't know that it had subtitles. Now, this is PWM back in the day when I hated subtitles. Like, I did not F with subtitle movies. I've grown as a movie connoisseur, and I don't mind them now. But back in the day, I could not do it, guys. I went off of the reviews that were written up on the box. They sounded amazing. The creature on the front of that cover of The Host was amazing. So I just picked it up. I didn't even know it was subtitled. Got home and I was like, oh man, this is bullshit subtitles. And started to watch it and was a little bit questioning whether it was a good decision or not. And then all of a sudden that creature comes out and it becomes this creature feature, like just on the scale of like a Godzilla. The Host creature is so big, but it's so badass the way it's designed and how it hangs from bridges and how it converts its body, and like, I can't even explain it. It's so cool. The special effects are top notch in that film. Even today, it looks great. I haven't watched it in a while, but I think I picked it up on Blu-ray, so I'm going to be watching it and probably talking about it again. But so cool that he directed that, The Host. And he also directed a movie that everybody fell in love with. I don't know if I like it as much as everybody else, but I appreciate it and respect the film. It's called Parasite. And it's a 2019 film that I think won like a bunch of awards and stuff. Now, this has a lot of good actors in it as well. Let me just read off some of the actors. Let me see. Chris Evans, I think I talked about in the last video. He's I think he's Captain America in the Marvel films, in some of the Marvel films. I think he was a Human Torch in Fantastic Four. Song Kang-ho, which I'm assuming is related to the director. Tilda Swinton is in this. She's really good in this movie. She plays like kind of like an evil, rich tyrant in the movie. Jamie Bell, Octavia Spencer. I think she was Ma, right? The black lady in Ma. Ewan Bremer, John Hurt, and also Ed Harris is in this film as well. Now, this is a societal film. And you know what? Much like Parasite, it's a movie where the poorest of the poor infiltrate the rich. And it's the same with this movie. Now, so this movie's about, there is a global warming experiment that they conducted, and it really backfired. It ended up freezing the planet. So the temperatures are so bad it just killed everybody. Now, there were, I guess, people that got onto this Snowpiercer, you know, a melting pot of people that got onto the Snowpiercer, this train, this gigantic futuristic train that travels the world. And so they survived. So now the whole entire world is now on this train. So when I say societal, the tail end of the train is like the worst ghetto of all ghettos you could ever imagine, while the front sections are the richest of the rich, living the most decadent lifestyles. And then like the middle sections are the middle class people. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like from the back to the front, it's just a melting pot of the poor to the rich to the richest. And so that's really cool. And the people in the trail end of the train are living in such just squalor and such bad conditions. And they have things that go on in the train where, you know, it's like a totalitarian dictatorship where every once in a while they'll send people to the back and they'll start killing people off to keep the population in check. And then all of a sudden they're kidnapping, they're taking babies, like 5-year-olds, and they're measuring them. And you don't know why they're measuring them, but you find out later on in the movie why. So they're taking, they're kidnapping family members from mothers and stuff. And so finally, Chris Evans' character and one of his friends, this guy who really looks up to him, I think it's played by, if I remember correctly, Jamie Bell's character. What is the old guy? Seems like he was on kind of like a Lord of the Rings character. Maybe it's Ewan Brimmer. He's an old guy. I don't know if that's him or not. But he's kind of like the leader, but he's getting to the point where he's so old that, I don't know, Chris Evans' character is taking the lead, right? So they plan an upheaval to basically, whenever the oppressors or the main dudes come, that they're like soldiers and stuff, they come back there to do counts, because they do counts on them all the time to make sure that, you know, their population is in check and everyone's there, no one's escaped and stuff, and they stay in their place, right? So they plan this upheaval to storm the rest of the train and to make it from the tail section of the train and take each car on at a time and work their way all the way to the front of the train, so they can take over the train and now be the leaders of this Snowpiercer. So it's really cool the way it's set up, the film, but it's got a lot of twists in it that you would never imagine. It's not straightforward at all. It's got a lot of surprises in the mix for sure. Now, let me see. I guess I don't have to read it. I think I explained that pretty good. It says, but unexpected circumstances lie in wait for humanity's tenacious survivors. Now, I don't know. They really didn't go into great detail about it, but this Snowpiercer train travels the globe and is powered by a sacred perpetual motion engine. Now, I have to look up perpetual, but I think perpetual means it never stops. But I don't know. It's almost like it's magical and not just mechanical, but I could be misinterpreting that. But anyway, it has to have a train conductor, a guy who's watching that motor constantly, and that's played by Ed Harris's character. You find out later in the film, or you find out now as I spoil it. But yeah, man, I thought this was a really cool film, man. I did have some problems with the end of the movie, but all in all, it's a really cool flick. It's a really cool sci-fi film. And this actually comes with no digital, sorry guys, which I'm going to have to check out. It's got 2 discs in there. It's got a special features disc. Now, the special features disc has the birth of Snowpiercer, animated prologue, concept art galleries, Chris Evans and Tilda Swinton on Snowpiercer, so interviews with them. The train brought to life behind the scenes of a special screening. Transparentage? I don't know what the hell that is. I had problems reading that the last time. from the blank page to the black screen. And yeah, man, definitely check it out. $1.99 at Goodwill. I thought it was pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and move spots just because the sun's starting to melt my arm off. All right, that's a little better. Shout out to Time Lord. Time Lord is like the TMZ when it comes to Albert Pyun, the outstanding director, just passed away. I think he knew before Albert's wife knew, so he sent me a text when he found out, and you know, rest in peace to him, and you know, just a tremendous director, and I look forward to exploring his filmography after his death. Obviously, the first movie I ever watched with him, I'm not going to go into all his movies because it will take too long here, but the first movie that I've ever watched was Cyborg. That's one of my favorite films of all time, so he had me from the jump. And but I've seen a lot of cool stuff from him, especially during the pandemic when I had all those months off. But there's lots of movies that I still need to see of his that I look forward to watching. All right, next up here. This is a pawn shop pickup. Fortress 2 Re-Entry. I was very happy to find out that there was a part 2 to this. I had no clue. One of my earlier videos, we talked about this. I picked this up. I shouldn't say earlier videos. One of my videos, one of my Goodwill hunting videos, I picked this up and I talked about it. I believe in another video I probably watched it and talked about it if I didn't watch it when I put that video out, if that makes any sense. But yeah, man, I got a big smile on my face, man, when I found out there was another one of this, because I love Christopher Lambert and I was a big fan of the first Fortress movie. Now, unfortunately, there's no Fortress in Fortress 2. I think the Fortress prison, maximum security prison, was destroyed in the first movie. So, but there is another maximum security prison that now is orbiting the Earth in space, 26,000 miles away. And they recapture Christopher Lambert because he escapes the fortress in the first movie. And now he is in space, imprisoned once again. And I was thinking about this. I've watched a lot of movies where people are in prison. And I have to say, Lambert is now my go-to escape prison actor. You know, like Clint Eastwood was in Alcatraz, Escape from Alcatraz, right? Van Damme was in Death Warrant. Stallone was in Lockup. There's been so many movies, but I feel like I want to see Christopher Lambert in more prison movies. You know? I live in the greater Houston area. I don't mind seeing him in prison downtown Houston. You know? I want to see him in Los Angeles in prison, in New York in prison, like anywhere in prison. I want to see Christopher Lambert. I don't know what it is about the guy. I love seeing him in prison. And I don't know. I'm now collecting Christopher Lambert prison movies, guys. Comment below if you know any other movies that Christopher Lambert is in prison, because I need it for the shelf, guys. It's very important to me. But, yeah, this is directed by Geoff Murphy. Thank God my name is Jeff and not Geoffrey. That would drive me insane. But, yeah, unfortunately his name is Geoff Murphy, or Joff Murphy. Sounds like a butler or some shit. But anyway, not that there's anything wrong with being a butler, I guess. But yeah, man, this is I don't know, man. This is definitely not as good as the first film, but it's a fun popcorn flick, man. What do you want me to tell you? I love Christopher Lambert in prison movies. There's definitely some hilarious stuff going on in the movie, just like the first one. Pamela Grier is in this movie. She plays a small role in the film. And let me just go over the synopsis with you guys. In the not-so-distant future, Earth is controlled by a giant corporation called Mintel. After escaping from a maximum security prison known as the Fortress, renegade John Brennick, Christopher Lambert, and his wife and son are fugitives on the run. But Brennick is soon apprehended again and placed in the futuristic state-of-the-art maximum security prison recently completed by Mintel, orbiting 26,000 miles from Earth. The prison houses the planet's most fierce criminals, forcing them to perform dreaded space labor amidst meteor showers and other harsh elements. There's a part in the film where, and it's like, how the hell do these prisoners have any kind of space education where they can like do work on the spaceship? Like there's one scene where they make the space guy, the prisoners, like 4 of them, go outside with their suits on. They're floating around in space. They're like working on these panels on the satellite disc. And one of the guys, they had to replace like a panel. One of the bolts is stuck. He's like hammering on the bolt. And the other guy's like, "What are you doing? You're going to F everything up." And he's like, "What are you, the bolt police?" It's just so funny. And all of a sudden a meteor shower starts. And the guys are rushing to get back in the ship. And they close the door, like the prisoner administrator, or the prison guard closes the door when the last guy's getting close to the door, and everybody's like, "Open the door for him, open the door, he's right there." And he's like, "Hell no, fuck that, we're not risking anything." And all of a sudden you just see a meteor like go right through, like a little small meteor like puncture his suit and go right through, and you can see his visor fill up with blood. It's really well done. But yeah, they don't give a fuck. They're letting people die in meteor showers. Like the prison guards and stuff are ruthless, man. They don't give a shit. But it's so funny how they're trusting prisoners to work on this expensive equipment. It doesn't make any sense at all, but they soon find out that they have cameras implanted in them. So everything that they're seeing, the prison warden is seeing. So he's a step ahead of them the whole way, and they don't know that till like close to the finale, or getting close to the final act or whatever. They finally figure that out, and they get a hold of one of the implants and they put it on a pet. One of them has a pet roach, but it's this gigantic like pet roach, and they put the camera on top of the pet roach, and they try to get the pet roach to infiltrate like where the warden is. It's so funny, man. But I don't know, man. Like I said, really good popcorn flick. I enjoyed it. Again, not as good as the first one, but is there a Fortress 3? I mean, I didn't know about this one, man. Maybe I need to do some research. If there is, I'm definitely picking it up. I will watch Fortress 500. Any Fortress movie that he's in, I'm going to watch it. He's so good, man. I love it. You know, this movie right here, I'm going to have to put in a category of some of the greatest movie names of all time. You know, up there with the Let's Get Harry. Up there with the Brokeback Mountain. Caw. Let me say that again. Caw. It is such an incredible film name. I just love it. Caw. You know it's going to be good just with that name. And now this movie premiered on Sci-Fi. That's going to scare a lot of people away. But I don't know. You guys, I want to hear your comments on this. It premiered on Sci-Fi, but I see no name, no indication of Sci-Fi on the back of it. It doesn't say it's a Sci-Fi movie. It's actually a Sony Pictures film. And it was brought to us by Real One Entertainment. So I don't know. And the reason why I bring that up, I saw a review on Rotten Tomatoes where a guy said this is probably the best sci-fi original film ever made. Now, I have not watched a ton of sci-fi stuff. A lot of it's terrible. Some of it's really funny, and so I'm not one to tell you it's the best sci-fi film. If we're going to consider it a sci-fi film, like I said, it did, you know, it was a straight-to-television movie, and it did debut on the Sci-Fi Channel. But I definitely like the film, guys. So this is a reimagining or a modernization of the Alfred Hitchcock classic, The Birds. Make no mistake about it. But don't give me that. I don't want you guys to say, oh, The Birds was so incredible. Yes, The Birds was so incredible. I get that, guys. It's a classic. It's just like, you're not going to tell me that the Psycho 5 is better than the original Psycho. You're not going to do that. But that does not mean that Psycho 5 is not a good movie. Or I should say Psycho 4. Now, yes, Jaws is the greatest shark movie of all time. That doesn't mean that Open Water is not fucking good. So I put this in that type of category. You know, The Birds is a classic, but this is a good standalone film. And you know what's funny about this? Or not funny, which is really cool about this. The lead male role in the original 1963, I believe, The Birds, Alfred Hitchcock classic, was an actor named, oh, I don't want to mess this up, Rod Taylor. A young Rod Taylor. He is in this movie and plays a pretty big role in the movie. He's the doctor in the film. So I really love how they tied those two movies together, bringing back Rod Taylor. That is so cool. But this is a 2007 film right here, guys, and it was directed by Sheldon Wilson. And what's interesting about Sheldon Wilson, he not only directed the film, he also edited the film. And he was heavily involved with the visual effects, too, even to the extent that he actually did a third of the visual effects himself. So, real control freak on this movie, guys. Not saying that that's a bad thing, because it ended up being a good thing. This is a very decently done, I should say good. This is a goodly done special effects film. I really enjoyed it. Now, maybe birds and bats and stuff are easier to do than some things, but granted, it still looked really good. And, but not only the CGI was good with the birds, it showed a lot of real practical birds in it, and it was very seamless, or not seamless, but they edited the film together really well. Let's just put it to you that way, between the practical and the CGI. And there was also some really good, at least from my vantage point, good gore effects. Really funny, like cheesy, like just hilarious gore effects where the ravens in the film are pecking at people's heads, like pulling brain out, pecking at their leg and pulling tissue out of their legs and stuff. And it was really well done. I got to give Sheldon Wilson some credit on that. Now, there's an actor in this film that I really thought was great in it, and his name is Stephen McHattie. I think he's an English actor, and he's the bus driver in the film. He plays a big role in the movie, and he's like a redneck farmer. He's kind of considered like the crazy guy in town, and yeah, he plays a really. I thought his acting was very good in the movie. Without him, they really needed him in this film. Now, I want to explore his filmography, because I have not seen a lot of movies he's in. I think I was mistaking him for somebody else, but yeah, man, he's really effing good in this. Now, I don't remember off the top of my head, guys, the story of the OG The Birds film. Why the Birds were doing that, I can't remember. But if it's not this, I thought this was pretty cool. So you have these Amish people, right? Are they the Mormons or whatever, where, you know, their daughters can't have, you know, their daughters can't reveal they have to be dressed real, like, you know, dressed where they can't show off any body or whatever. And then they don't like to interact with with people. They can't watch television and stuff. And all of a sudden, so they have a farm. They sell their milk and products, you know, to the town that they live in. And all of a sudden, all their cows start dying of mad cow disease. And there's one part where they're showing them at the bottom of a well, like they threw the cows at the bottom of a well, and they're trying to set them on fire and stuff. Well, anyway, the ravens got into these cows and started eating the flesh of these cows. So now the ravens have mad cow disease. So that's why they're going after and they're going after humans and killing all these people in the town. So I thought that was really well how that was written. And yeah, I mean, that pretty much explains the story of it. I say go check it out, man. If you like animal horror, this is definitely a film. I'm putting this next to all my cool animal horror films on the shelf. And yeah, I love films like this. I would like to see some more bird films. What did I see? I saw Bats with Lou Diamond Phillips, I believe, not too long ago. I think there's some other bat movies out there. I need some rat movies. There's a lot of rat movies that I need. And, yeah, I'm sure there's some more bird films. How about a horror movie where the eagle is killing people? Maybe that could be the Physical Media Max movie. I think that'd be badass. Caw. All right, let me get a sip of coffee here. I only got a few more films to go through. All right, this is another pawn shop pickup for 99 cents. And this is the only non-2000 film. Oh, no, I'm sorry. There is one more. But this is a 1997 movie directed by Brent Huff, whom, by the way, is married to Sean Huff, who plays a real sexy assassin in this movie. And so he's married to her in real life, and she's in the film as well. And I think, yeah, Brent Huff is in the movie as well, which is kind of funny because he's not... Ralph Moeller should be the one that should be in this, in his place. But I think the fact that he's the director and he's in the movie, he put himself on the cover. But you can see you have our boy Robert Davey in the film, and then former wrestler Roddy Piper's in the movie. Now it's hilarious because there's some typos written on the back of this. Now, by the way, I've already talked about how I love these DVD cases. So to finally find one on my own that was a really cool film was badass, right? So let me read you these. This is so funny how they screwed up on the back of this. So Robert Davey of Showgirls, Predator. And by the way, I always forget because there's so many badasses in Predator. Robert Davey is also in Predator. Now, he's probably the least badass of that whole film. I mean, let's face it. Now, what was I going to say? And of James Bond's License to Kill, stars as James McHugh, a soldier of fortune hired by a town that's under siege by a sadistic militia. To exterminate the renegades, McHugh pulls together the best of the baddest, including Sims, Roddy Piper of Jungle Ground. I've never seen Jungle Ground, so I got to look up that film. And then they put John Carpenter's The Live. I swear to God, guys, instead of putting They Live, they put The Live. I don't know if you can read that. And then if that's not enough, and of WWF Wrestling, a no-fear, no-holds-barred race driver, Kurt, Ralph Moeller, who was Mr. Universe at one point. He was in the Best of the Best 2 and Universal Soldier, a super strong man, an ex-spy, And Remy, a beautiful assassin, we just talked about her, the wife of the director, driven by a personal vendetta. Together, they're the bad pack, hell-bent to save the townspeople. But the militia has a deadly surprise. Wait a second. Oh, here it is. Remy, a beautiful assassin. Instead of assassin, it says assassin. So very disappointed. Who wrote this shit? They should be fired. They should never get to write the back of a DVD ever again. But, oh, this is so hilarious. So, they wanted to build upon, man, allergies. They wanted to build upon the success of Con Air. So it says blows Con Air off the screen. And it's got a 747. I don't think that there is one 747 in the whole entire movie. It has nothing to do with a 747 plane. So that is, in itself, is worth buying. Now, again, Roddy Piper's in it. Robert Davies in it. Ralph Moeller was, again, in Universal Soldier. He was like this guy, like he could, like, when I watch him in this film, he's as big as Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, I literally feel like he could have been as big as Arnold Schwarzenegger as far as movies is concerned. You know, decent looking guy, you know, obviously, if he was Mr. Universe, I mean, come on, the guy had it all. I think he's a good actor. Accent maybe a little bit heavy, but I mean, come on, Schwarzenegger's accent was heavy as shit. So, kind of surprised he didn't do more in Hollywood, but he was in some decent films. Some of his filmography I need to explore. I've seen him in, God, my sinus is so bad right now. I've seen him in, I haven't seen him in The Best of the Best 2. I want to say Tyler sent me that, but I'm not sure. But I have seen him in Universal Soldier. And he's been in some other stuff that I'm interested in. I was looking at his Wikipedia today. But, you know, so the Bad Pack, obviously playing upon the Rat Pack, right? And later on, the Brat Pack. Now you have the Bad Pack. Not my favorite name of all times, but things always heat up when old friends get together. The action explodes across the screen like a machine gun burst. Don't miss a second when the Bad Pack comes to town. But it's funny, like, the Mexican guys who are getting bullied by this militia and, you know, their family members and friends are getting killed by this militia. They go into Texas to search for, they read like a newspaper article on someone that they can hire to handle this. When they go visit this guy, he turns them down. And the secretary says, hey, I think I might know someone. She's speaking of Robert Davey, who is, or Davi. I always say Davey. It's Davi. Robert Davi. I'm going to get in, someone's going to give me grief about that, I'm sure. But Robert Davi's character is like, he's just, you know, ex-military guy, and he's working in a motorcycle shop, and he's happy with that. He doesn't want to do anything else. But the secretary tells the Mexicans about him. So and says he normally hangs out in this diner. He's there around this time or whatever. She knows so much about him for some reason. I don't know if she's stalking him or what. So coincidentally, you know, for the movie's sake anyway, they go into this diner and they sit down and they're looking across and they think they see him. They're like, oh, that's him over there. We need to get up. We need to go talk to them. And then literally as they say this, apparently some guys had just watched Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction, the diner robbery scene, come in there with masks on and start robbing the fucking diner, right? And Robert Davi's character is so funny. He's the only one that doesn't put his hands up and put his wallet on the table or whatever. He's just sitting there. He's just eating a tuna sandwich. No big deal. The guy puts a gun. He couldn't have a gun any further inside of Robert Davi's ear. He's doing this number. Robert Davi's just eating a sandwich. And he's like, are you effing crazy? I'm going to blow your effing head off right now. And just eating a sandwich. And Robert Davi says, you can have what you want. Just don't mess with my sunglasses. His sunglasses are sitting on the dining room table. I guess it's his favorite pair of sunglasses. And next thing you know, he elbows the guy, takes the gun from him, beats the shit out of everybody. So the Mexicans are like, oh, fuck. This guy is going to help us with this militia. We got to get his assistance. There's some black guy, I can't remember who he's played by. Let me see if he's on here. He's a good actor. I've seen him in quite a few things. I'm not going to be able to tell you. No. John Orland? I don't know. Anyway, he's like kind of like a hustler character, whatever. He starts helping the Mexican guys. Yeah, let's talk them into doing it. I'll get us a plane to go in there and stuff, to Mexico and stuff. I'll take care of all of that stuff, and I'll get information on the militia, on the internet and stuff. So they're trying to talk Robert Davi, and he's not having it. All of a sudden, just like out of the blue, he just changes his mind and says, okay, I know some people. And like literally like everybody that he knows from the military is like a little bit more crazy than he is. And like literally one of them is so crazy, he's in a mental hospital. They have to break him out of a mental hospital. I think he's played by the director, Duff, right here. And yeah, so, you know, they have the hot assassin chick played by his wife, the director's wife. And she's like a sniper. And Robert Moeller's character is this, he's fighting in this underground like boxing world and stuff. So he retrieves them from that. And which another good actor is like actually the guy in that world, the boxing world. I can't think of his name right now. He's in Demon Knight. I'll never think of his name. Let's see. No, he's not even given a credit on here, which is weird. I don't know. There's a lot of good actors in this. But, yeah, he gets the bad pack. All these guys that he worked in the military, they go over to Mexico and they kick some ass, man. It's a fun popcorn flick, man. Lots of explosives, lots of guns firing, lots of murder, and it's a fun film, man. I enjoyed it. All right, so this is the only one that I have not seen. Last two movies, guys, and I'll let you go here. This is the only movie that I have not seen. Mega Piranha. Now, this is definitely a sci-fi film. There's the Echo Bridge. Let me see if it says sci-fi on it. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is The Asylum Presents. Echo Bridge and The Asylum. But anyway, it's got Tiffany, the former singer, Tiffany, and it's got Paul Logan in it. Who's Paul Logan? That's not the guy from Crocodile Dundee, is it? I don't think so. But he's sort of a big-time actor, I think. For some reason, I thought this had... Am I going crazy? You know what? I think I left a movie at home. Yeah, I did. There was another movie which I didn't watch that movie either, so that's cool. We'll talk about that in the next video. The other movie had Tiffany as well. It was like a crocodile, giant crocodile fights like some kind of snake or some shit. It was like Tiffany and one of those other singers. Like they're having cat fights the whole movie. It's supposed to be hilarious. I don't know. Usually I kind of stay away from these, but when they use too much CGI, I don't know. I just can't deal with it. But I started watching this last night. It had a decent beginning to it. It was kind of funny. Piranhas were just tearing the shit out of some people that were swimming in the water. And but this one, I think this one goes like really overboard with the CGI. Like in the beginning, they're showing like small piranhas, but I think the piranhas get bigger, like as large as a battleship or some shit. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's gonna be funny, I'm sure. Hail the power of the Mega Piranha. Saturday night is fun again. Monsters and Critics. The most fun I've had all year. Live action movie all year. Scott Medelson of the Huffington Post. The most fun I've had with a live action movie all year. Okay. The Huffington Post says, check it out. After a boat carrying diplomats disappears on the Venezuela's Orinoco River, Navy SEAL Jason Fitch, played by Paul Logan, is called in to investigate an assumed assassination plot. But something much bigger and deadlier is the culprit, a mutant strain of giant ferocious piranha. Genetics researcher Sarah Monroe, 1980s pop star Tiffany, has discovered that they're quickly doubling in size and heading north to the ocean. Jason and Sarah must team up to stop the massive fish from devouring everything and anyone in their path. Hold on for a wild ride, the Huffington Post calls the Sci-Fi Channel's most insane original movie yet. See, this is calling it a sci-fi film as well, but I don't see sci-fi written on it. I guess if they premiere on Sci-Fi, they're considered sci-fi films. Kind of like Shudder, I guess. Same type of, I don't know, whatever. All right, next up here. For whatever reason, I never see Creepshow 1, 2, and most certainly 3 out in the wild. I just never run across them, so whenever I saw Creepshow 2 for a couple of bucks at Goodwill, I was all over it, man. I prefer this over the original. This has two of my favorite stories in it. The old Chief Woodenhead about the Indian guy. I just love that story, how the young Indian guy, he has the long Indian hair, but he's like not really, like he's talking bad about his, like he wants to not be Indian, if I remember correctly. He's like so against his being Indian. He's tired of people making fun of the Indians and stuff. And I don't know, I'm probably explaining that wrong, but I just remember that inside that little gas station store, there's this big wooden Indian that comes to life and starts killing everybody. It's really well done. And probably my favorite Creepshow film of all films is The Raft. Lots of great TNA on that one. And the creature effects are really cool on it. And so many movies have copied that in the past. You know, it's like Larry Fessenden copied it with his little fish movie where they're on a raft. Same scenario. And his little devilfish movie. But yeah, man, The Raft is cool, man. It's definitely an awesome part of the anthology. The Hitchhiker is actually pretty good as well, man. All around, all of them are good. 3 solid anthology films right here. Creepshow 2, guys. All right, guys, that's it. Thanks for checking out the video. I appreciate it. Thanks for checking out DVDs, Nuts, and Popcorn. And yeah, I'm your host of Physical Media Mac, and I will be back. And good luck out there finding whatever physical media that you are looking for. Rest in peace to Albert Pyun. And that's it, guys. I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Have a great week ahead. See you guys on the weekend.